Hello and welcome back to Animate. I'm working on a little movie here with where a robot turns on a radio. Well, it sees that radio, moves up to it, and it talks to it. So I'll play what I have so far.
Hello, friend.
So I'll need to put in some sound at some point, maybe a little click when it turns that dial, and then some loud music when the radio turns on. But really now what I'm going to work on in this video is that I'm going to make that robot look very excited and maybe a little frightened by that change to the radio that's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to do that with a couple things by making the robot arms move up, and then also by stretching out the robot head to make it look like it's very surprised. So maybe I'll start with the arms. So at this point I'm going to the radio's on. Maybe it takes a beat or so for the robot to really notice what's going on, that loud music, and that it's maybe not a friend, or maybe it is a friend, but a strange friend. So I'm going to go to the arm here and back, and I'm going to make a keyframe on it. I have a PC, so I'm going to right click. You can get this context sensitive menu as well on a Mac by going Control click. I'm going to insert a keyframe. So anytime you want to change thing, insert that keyframe. I'm going to go to one of these corners, rotate that arm up. Now I want this arm to be flipped on the horizontal axis though. I can do that just on this keyframe by going Modify, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Now it's really way off, so I have to kind of rotate it back. But it's going to be like, oh, way up in the air. So notice it goes down. This is, I'm not doing a tween here. The tween probably wouldn't work anyway very well with that flipping. This is animating on the extreme, so using the extreme keyframes to animate. So I'm going to do that with that arm. I'm going to do it with the same arm here. So I'm not adding a tween, I'm just adding a keyframe. And then I'm just going to rotate this arm around like this. And maybe I need to also click on it, go Modify, Transform, and then flip on the horizontal, and then kind of rotate it so it's in the right place. So it kind of looks like that panicked arm thing you do when something weird happens. Notice one thing I could do is even move this arm above the head here, just so it has the right overlap. I just want to check and make sure it's doing what I want it to do before when I do something like that. And it looks like it's just fine. So there's the panic thing. Now I need to make the panic and the head just as well. My head is a symbol. My robot head's its own symbol. I'm gonna do that change inside the symbol. So I'm not making a keyframe here in the scene. I'm going to double click on the robot head, go into it. Now notice when I'm in the scene and I'm at this frame here, frame 117, if I double click on the robot head, as long as I don't have any keyframes on that robot head layer, I should be at frame 117 inside of there. I think I do have some keyframes where I'm kind of nodding that head when it talks, but I didn't really interrupt the flow of the head symbol, so I'm doing just fine here. So at this point, one thing I did is I made some different mouths. So I'm going to just use one of those. I'm going to insert a keyframe here. And then like I did when I was making the robot talk, I'm going to click on the mouth. I'm going to go down to make sure that the mouth is selected, get my selection tool. Click and select that mouth. So I'm on an object, so I should find somewhere here the looping section. And I'm going to click on Frame Picker to find the frame I want. The big wide open mouth is right here. That looks like a good mouth for panic. Okay, so I got the panic mouth going on. I'm going to go to my face layer here. You know, I never made this layer into a symbol. Maybe I'll do that now just to save me some stress on it. And I'm just going to click on this layer. It doesn't really matter because there's no keyframes here. Going to go Modify, Convert to Symbol. We'll call it Face. Okay. And now if I go to my Free Transform tool, I want to stretch it up. But because I did that, I made it into a symbol. I'm going to be able to move this rotation point down and just stretch it in one direction. I wouldn't have been able to do that if it was just the drawn face, you know, with the little dots there. Making a symbol allows me to do that. So at this point, when the mouth opens wide, I'm going to right-click, control-click on my layer, insert the keyframe. I'm going to put this rotation point down here so just the face stretches up. I'm just going to stretch my head up. So notice now I'm going to have to kind of redistribute my other parts of it, like the nose. I'm going to make a keyframe there for nose. Insert a keyframe. My nose isn't a symbol, but it doesn't really matter in this case because I'm not going to rotate it. I'm just going to move it up a little bit. I'm going to go to the eye layer now, make another keyframe here, and just bring those eyes up. The eyes are a symbol themselves with a blink on them, but maybe I want to really make these eyes look really wide and different than they are. I'm gonna maybe bring up my mouth a little bit too, and maybe even stretch that out a little bit, make it more panicked. So with my eyes, what I'm going to do is actually go to the library, and I want to give them a look of even more fierce panic. So what I'm going to do is make a new set of eyes and just replace that new set with the eyes that are here. So I'm going to, what I'm doing is right-clicking. You can also control-click on a Mac, and I'm going to duplicate those eyes. Right now it calls them eyes copy, but I'm going to call it eyes surprised. Okay, and I'm going to go into my eyes surprised, and basically it's the same eyes that I had before. They blink and then they open, but I'm going to take it after the blink. Going to give it a few frames for it to do it. I'm going to stretch them up like I did before, so I'm going to move this. This is the rotation point. So it's going to allow me to kind of stretch this up a little bit up in one direction. I'm going to go to my pupils. My pupils aren't a symbol, but I'm just going to kind of stretch them up as well too. Just kind of bring them up here, make them look a little crazy. So it's going to blink, and then the eyes surprised are just really an intense thing. Maybe I'm just going to double click to get both parts of this pupil, kind of move it more in the middle, maybe even move. I'm going to move both of my pupils kind of over to the edge here, so they're really looking. So let me go back to my robot face, robot head, and double click there. And now I'm going to go to this eye layer. I'm just going to click and delete the eyes that are there now. I'm going to turn on the onion skinning so I can see where they were. Actually, they're kind of in the wrong place for the eyes surprised. And I'm going to click and drag them up here, kind of get them in place. Remember, there's the blink first, so when I go up here, now I can really get them set on that face. I'm going to turn off the onion skinning. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and so there's my surprised face. Let's go back to the scene and see what's going on here. So basically the radio turns on, it starts playing, and then whoa, my robot is looking surprised because he's got a little bit of stretch in his head and the eyes are stretched out. I have a surprised looking robot, very surprised robot. Maybe just one last little touch I can do with the head layer. So a robot head right here, when it starts, I'm going to wait until the eyes are way wide open here. I'm going to go to that frame, and I'm going to make a keyframe here, and I'm just going to rotate the head just a little bit this way, because you kind of move your head back when you're surprised like that, and just see if that just adds a little bit of nice touch to it. Okay, so now I have a robot looking surprised. I got the radio on, so that's it for now. Come back in the next video and learn how to export this out.